So the Sonic movie happened about 6 months ago, maybe a little more, and it was terrible. I hated that first trailer. The design of Sonic, the tone of the movie. The only thing that might have even possibly slightly a little bit saved the movie was Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. But the whole movie just still seemed terrible and not something I would ever want to watch. But now they have released the second trailer, deleted all of the tweets about the original movie, and, well, I'll just say, the new trailer looks amazing. Hello everyone, and welcome back to BGA TV HD, the show where we do gaming commentaries every single week. And today, we're going to be talking about my initial thoughts on the new Sonic movie trailer. So, this trailer dropped about 2 days ago, and it's basically a reboot for the movie, its marketing, and just overall everything related to that movie. Because if you have even been on the internet in the past 6 months since that trailer released, it's got memed to oblivion. Nobody liked that trailer. Nobody actually liked the design of Sonic at all, legitimately. The only saving grace of that original trailer was, as I said before, Jim Carrey. But because that was just a brilliant idea to have Jim Carrey as Robotnik, and I hope it'll play out great in the movie because we have only gotten more great moments from him in this new trailer. But of course, the main sticking point of this new trailer is, of course, Sonic himself. Now, Sonic in the original trailer was more realistic and looked more like an actual hedgehog, which was a problem because could you really call any of the Sonic characters the actual animals they were based off of? Knuckles, he's not really an echidna. Tails doesn't really look like a fox, and Sonic, besides the spines, doesn't really look like a hedgehog. But that's the way people know and like it. And the new design they came up with was extremely creepy, and again, nobody liked it because it just wasn't Sonic, and it felt like executives or people had just approved a design that was different from Sega's Sonic because they wanted to be different and not just do what the people wanted them to do. So that first trailer released, Gangsta's Paradise playing in the background. Why'd they choose that music anyway? And the whole, all the human scenes just looked terrible. I did not like them at all. And the jokes in the trailer, they were also terrible. And especially for the fact that the way they made his mouth look, he couldn't be as expressive as what he looks like in the games, even in Sonic Mania Adventures where nobody talks. It's just Sonic and Tails and Mighty and Ray and Knuckles and Amy and Metal Sonic and Robotnik doing what they do best, which is weird stuff, and also world domination at certain points. Even that had more expressive animations. Now, the guy who animated that, Tyson Hess, was in fact brought on for the redesign of Sonic, and it really shows because the redesign is amazing. It's exactly what I think a more realistic Sonic should look like. No, the one they made 6 months ago was certainly more realistic, but not in a Sonic way. The way they have it now, he still has 2 separate eyeballs instead of 1 eyeball and 2 pupils, because that's still a bit creepy, but they just have the fur fade into the skin around his mouth, and the normal place where it's skin around his stomach is actually skin now instead of white fur. His arms are still blue instead of skin colored like it is supposed to be in the games, but I think that's fine. It's such a minor detail, and it does keep the two versions of Sonic separate enough. There's a few design choices. The shoes look right this time. And all of the jokes with Sonic in it, like, there was only one moment in the original trailer where Sonic acted like Sonic, and it was that moment where all the missiles were coming towards him, and time stopped, and he looked at his watch and said, "Oh look, I've taken 12,000 steps today," because that was actually a really good joke. I liked it. And of course it's still gonna be in the movie, but they had so many better moments in this trailer that really encapsulated what Sonic is supposed to be, and I feel like this voice actor for Sonic really recaptured what it meant to be Sonic after reshooting and retaking, because I watched the original trailer again after this new one, and you'd be surprised how much different the voice acting alone sounds, and that might be the fact that they made Sonic himself more expressive, or the fact that they might have possibly had the guy reshoot all of the voice lines for Sonic, which he does an amazing job. My favorite scene with Sonic is where he's at the baseball field and he's playing baseball, but he's like got no friends yet, or really anybody at all. He's come from his world over to ours because everybody wanted to, like, I don't know, he just said everybody wanted his power in his world, so he came to Earth. What do you mean? Robotnik isn't in your world. Who wants it? Chaos? The Echidna clan? They're all dead, Knuckles. Who actually wants it? Or are there humans on their world too? Now, I hope that'll be explained who it was, because obviously I would really like them to explain that. Sounds like an interesting concept, because Robotnik is a human, like a full-blown human, not an overlander like in the comics, not a semi-human like in the later comics. He is a human, and he is hired by the American military to figure out what the heck Sonic is. So that all makes sense. But again, going back to, I kind of got off topic, but back to the baseball game, he's got no friends, so he's running around being all these different things. He's the pitcher, he's the fielders, he's the batter, he's everybody, and he has different personalities for all of them, and it's just amazing. And there's also this part where he's going with his friend Tim, yeah, I think that's his name, and I only say Tim because it just reminds me of Brain Pop, but of course, you know, that's great, because that guy does actually remind me of Brain Pop. But he was sitting in the car, and he sees this sign for the world's biggest yarn ball, and he's just like, no, and Tim's just like, no, we're not stopping there. And then he turns around and Sonic's gone. And then 3 seconds later, he's back in the car, and he's like, nope, that was lame. But I did get some cool souvenirs, and he's got like 5 balls of yarn and a paddle board. And it was just great, because it's like, that's totally something Sonic would do. Now, my hope is they do an interpretation of Sonic's, or not Sonic's world, our world, that's similar to how they did it in Sonic X, because of course those were fictional cities. Station Square does not exist in the real world. Central City does not exist in the real world. The president from Sonic Adventure 2 does not exist in the real world. I get that. I don't know if Green Hill is still a town on this side of the world spectrum, as opposed to, of course, now it is a location in Sonic's world rather than just a lame town in our world. But he still is wearing that Green Hill cap when in the baseball scene, so I feel like Green Hills is still a town that exists in our world. And yeah, also, there was one scene from Jim Carrey as Robotnik that has now become my catchphrase. The trailer just came out, but I've already coined it as my catchphrase. It's that one scene where the guy walks in and he's like, sir, would you like this latte I made for you? And Robotnik's like, of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them. And I've just, anytime somebody says anything, it's like, do you want them? I just go, of course I want that. I love the way you make them. I mean, it might be weird, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, I loved this trailer. I think this movie is going to be amazing now. If you told me 6 months ago that I was going to absolutely love the Sonic movie, I probably would have laughed at you. But now that I've seen what they've done, and I still just want to say that this trailer overall, even if it had the nightmare fuel Sonic from the original trailer, this trailer still would have been bad because most of the expressions used could only be done with this new Sonic that looks like Sonic and is Sonic. So, yeah, this new trailer is great. I loved it. And I hope you love it too, and I hope you go see the movie on Valentine's Day, because I certainly will, or around that time. Probably not on Valentine's Day itself, though, that following weekend. I don't even know if I have that off from school. But yeah, Sonic trailer be good. My final verdict? I am seeing the movie. I don't care what anybody says or what comes out afterwards, I am seeing the movie. Now, what about a Nintendo Cinematic Universe? We're not talking about that. That is an entirely different thing that could be connected to Detective Pikachu, but that's also connected to the animated Pokemon movie because that Mewtwo is the same Mewtwo from that movie, but we're not even going to get into all the loopholes with that. But yeah, thank you all for watching this first impressions of this trailer, and goodbye.